All right, and we're back, and okay, we're back, and it's the Bleach Wiki Chapter 605 review. In lieu of Sun not feeling well, we've got other people.
Oh, thanks.
We've got Mohrph now. This is Mohrph. We've roped Mohrph into the call. Dun 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 dun
Finally.
dun.
Yeah,
And we've
we
also
have
got
time
Sal
now.
back. We've got four of us. We've got the Sausage Fest chapter review. I'm sorry, I didn't say that.
You know what?
I knew that was going to come up eventually.
I was thinking it. I didn't want to say it, but not, you did. You did it for
Yes,
me.
but I have no shame.
And as always, I'm Zill. Okay.
And we've also got
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Alright,
I'm
so,
here.
alright, so, yeah, Sun's not feeling well. Poor Sun.
Poor son. Her antibody.
So, hey, yes, we've now got, Mohrph here. Yeah, you know what, Zilla, you get to ask the questions.
Okay. Thank you for linking it to me. All right. A minute.
Yes, we're gonna force Mohrph into the standard earlier bout of random questioning.
All right.
Random
Mohrph,
screening time. Random screening.
Ready for this?
I'm also eating cheese.
Oh boy. Yeah, let's go.
All right. So we have a few questions. So, first off, how did you get into Bleach?
Oh wow. Let's see. I'm gonna say probably Adult Swim.
That's classic.
Yeah, I know, right? That's like everybody and their mother's answer, but yeah, I watched the anime first couple of episodes, decided I was interested in it, and then I decided to start reading it online. And I think, what chapter was it? It was the one where Ichigo's lying on the ground after Ulquiorra beat the crap out of him, and he has a hole in his chest and everything, and
I believe that was like 351.
Grimjow drags Orihime over, and he's like, heal him, and yeah, that was where I picked it up.
Oh, the first time.
Yeah, the first
Okay. Okay, gotcha. All right. All right. Next, when did you find the wiki and join it?
Oh wow. I remember exactly what went down too, because it was during the Ulquiorra fight. It was crap. Do you remember the whole thing about? I don't know if you were around back then, but there's something called like the instantaneous Cerro Oscurus or something like that. And I think
I didn't read about it on the talk page a couple times.
yeah, like the first thing I did when I came on the site was delete this like giant paragraph of speculation because I don't know. I was kind of like it kind of irked me. And back then, I guess that was before we got all I'd say that was I won't call it the Dark Ages. That's kind of derogatory, but that was back before everything kind of got all organized and gung ho, and we started nuking all of the dissenters from orbit.
Oh,
But
you know
yeah,
You make it sound like we were the Empire. Like,
Fire the Death Star.
like we're gonna blow up Alderaan right now.
but no, like that was
This is the Bleach Wiki Empire. We shall destroy all speculation theories.
Unlimited power.
In fact,
yeah,
I recall that it was like 1,000 characters worth of deletion that he did, and it was
Of course.
actually right after I had undid somebody's edit.
And of course, I gave no reason for it back then. I didn't know anybody. I didn't feel like I had to justify myself. And of course, that's like the worst possible way to acquaint yourself with a community.
Yeah.
Over time, my edit summaries have become snarky.
I'll have to look up that. I want to see what.
Though admittedly so, in hindsight, he was entirely right to delete that whole section because even though it did have a reference, at least one somewhere in there. That whole Sarah Oscaris thing was a whole lot of maybes, what ifs, and whatnot. It was also at a point in time where I don't think there was a lot of references to be made. So at that time, I think there was only like one reference on that page, and it was in that paragraph.
Because that was like that was
Yeah,
that was before the committee, before when we had like more than 3 admin. That was half of them of which were never like present.
About 9, I think.
Yeah, it's like
So.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like, oh, Gork can fire Sarah Skir is really fast. I'm sure he fires it from his butthole. Or something like
More
that.
admins, less productivity.
Yeah. Okay, so, Mohr, what is your main role and contribution to the wiki?
oh wow. Well, I've as of late I've been contributing through Slacktivism. But
Selectivism, I like it.
back in I do pretty much like any kind of content updating when I'm feeling up to doing large scale edits. Otherwise, it's just grammar or information fixes or needlessly disputing certain changes on talk pages.
God.
But
Sick as shit.
I'm a
Alright.
politician. Okay, it's like
Yeah. You're a conservative politician, no less. Alright. And, so, what is your favorite arc, character, and race?
our character and race. Oh boy. Well, for arc, I'm gonna have to say the Lost Shinigami representative arc.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I know, right? That's
Can
the
of
arc that
worms.
like everybody hates because there is no Shinigami. There's all like the main thread is over to back in the human world. Oh shit, this is boring. Yada yada. I know. I've heard everything about it,
I
but
mean,
I don't
I
know.
don't really hate it. I kind of liked it was back on humans for a while.
I don't
I don't know. Just
know
like
that everybody hates it for those reasons. I think it's more has more to do. Well, I can't speak for everybody else. I don't like it because I didn't feel that it was about the character was supposed to be about. They made this
yeah,
whole
it's
big deal
true.
about how the first thing was supposed to be about like Rukia or whatever, and then the second thing was supposed to be. I mean, now it's supposed to be about Yuryu or Hime was about the Rancor thing was Orihime and Yuryu's now, and they're like, oh, the Fullbringers is supposed to be about Chad, but he had like 5 minutes of FaceTime to tell you should go to use his inner whatever. And I'm like, okay, maybe it should. I understand it goes the main character, but maybe it should have been less about him and more about Chad.
That's true, but it's appropriate because Chad always gets like his ass beat after
Sidelined.
can
five seconds after this on the spotlight. It's like,
can
but no,
say
I don't know. I just felt like it was since it was like the smallest arc. Well, actually, I think it was longer than the Shinigami substitute arc, but I think it benefited from being a little tighter knit. It had like the mystery. It had some. You actually saw Ichigo kind of. I don't want to say his first. I think it's most apparent character development he got after losing his powers, kind of coping with that. And I don't know, he's just. And honestly, I thought Execution was more interesting than the Wizard. That's that's just me though. I don't
okay.
know. Oh
I
yeah.
think that actually speaks to another problem. Just to piggyback on that 1 second.
Oh god.
Oh god.
No, it speaks to another problem because I think that's something I think we can critique about Kubo is that he kind of has a tendency to maybe I don't know underuse, maybe undervalue certain characters. We had the Vizards and
Oh,
they were out
totally.
there and everything like that, and we saw them, fight against a couple of Minos Grande, but it was like you were expecting a lot more and you just didn't seem to get a lot more, and then they kind of became an afterthought. And they're not the only ones, but I mean, he kind of has a tendency to do that, and I think it's a product of like working with a whole lot of characters.
It's
Like
funny how
ironically, or sorry, but thinking
oh, good.
back, I think Hachi is actually the one who got the biggest spotlight in the entire
Yeah,
arc. It's like,
I was gonna say he's only beating a Spada.
Yeah, him with Baragon that pretty much kind of sealed it. He did the most out of anybody as far as ability wise. So
Crazy. So, Mohr,
yeah,
what's your favorite character?
character. Honestly, I'd have to say Ichigo, and that's kind of rare because the main character is almost never my favorite character. It just doesn't happen. I mean, usually you're supposed to be the gung ho generic. I'm the shonen protagonist, hero, whatever. But I don't know. I like his overall. I like his shtick. His deal, big deal is
Alright.
Yeah, I don't want to go too deep into that since he's the main character. I could probably talk like an hour about why, and then Sal will tell me why I'm wrong. And no, I'm kidding, but don't hurt me.
Alright. Can't promise that. Alright. And what's your favorite race? Oh, this is gonna be good.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ooh, I would say Shinigami.
Oh, really? I thought you were
I
gonna go
thought
for
he
Fullbringer.
was gonna say the red guy.
I thought you were
I
going for the...
swear, if anyone says that,
I mean, honestly, I thought you were a big fan of the blanks. But you know what, Shinigami, fine.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know, since every Shinigami is unique because there's Zanpakuto and whatever, and you could say the same about the Iron Car, but
I don't know, man. I think the blanks are pretty unique.
oh yeah, like one's slightly wider and has a slightly redder head, and
They got
Yeah, totally. Yep.
One looks
talking
slightly
dolls
like a
that'll.
clan member.
They're probably the only ones with actual weapons that will have personality, can talk, and then can kill them. Like, what is that about?
yeah.
Oh, I'm connected to you on some fundamental level, but if you step out of line, I might have to kill you.
Like
Right.
I was thinking originally I was thinking Quincy, but then I'm just like they're all the same basically when it gets right down to it. But I'm not counting all the ridiculous extra
How?
powers they get by kissing
Yes. The
Buckbeard's
personalities are very,
shoes.
very one.
Can't argue there. Alright, so, now we got all that out of the way. 605, how about that?
Ah, yes, that chapter.
Okay, should we go in a round table sort of thing? We have 4 of us now.
Maybe I don't know. Whoever wants to start us off.
Alright, I could get, like, the little I didn't say in my review out the way.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, basically, I found, Juju Man getting pimp slapped out of the palace hilarious.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just giant fucking hand
Like,
out of
like,
nowhere.
this is the first time he's ever been tossed around like that, and not to mention like the amazing expressions he had in this chapter of just like, oh my god, what's happening? Like like it's only ever happened once before. That's when Ichigo showed up, and after that he was confident and cocky. Now he'd like go to super extremes just to survive.
Hey, to be fair, he was warned.
Yeah, well he was warned, but no one thought Ichigo was being literal until this chapter. At which point we're like, oh, okay, names.
Well, I mean, the guy that draws kanji in midair and makes it do shit. If he says something, it's probably
He's like
gonna
the most
happen.
literal character in the series, probably. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
okay,
the
guys.
month
I
of-
outlined our fighting area. Let's go here.
I mean, you know,
Yep, pretty much.
what is his call sign is pretty much self-evident. I mean, the monk who calls the real name, like the guy is going to be the most literal person. Like,
Yeah.
it's not going to. He's not going to sit there and play around and use double negatives and double entendres and all that other stuff. He's going to sit there and if he's going to sell you something, he's going to tell you it outright. There's no reason for him his whole identity is about truth and being real. So
Yep. Also,
Hi, I'm Ichibei, and I'm here to sell you Mighty Putty.
yeah, and that's what you're gonna get.
there's a sham wow. Why it'll soak up all the water. Also, Juju was surprisingly hardcore. Honestly, like like shoving his fingers into his throat to talk, and then shooting himself with an arrow to get back up Ichibei. Like that was I didn't see that coming, and that was pretty awesome.
I don't
I mean-
know. I had a hard time telling what was going on there. That was like some Looney Tunes stuff right there.
Oh
He's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
he's sent flying 2,000 miles, and then he's like, okay, I'm gonna reverse the laws of physics.
Okay, well, 1,000 Re. I had to do this like lookup thing because people were like, oh, Re, and also I had to look it up. Japanese unit of measurement. 1,000 Re is about equal to 2.44 miles. So it wasn't really that far.
Okay,
I was
not
thinking
that.
it was
I mean,
like.
I mean, if he was 2,000 miles away, you'll see the palace in the background, which you can. Like,
Well, I mean, you're probably not
I
facing
mean,
in
still,
a direction.
2.5 miles is 2.5
It's the way
miles.
Kuba does his art style. It's more focused on the characters, so the background's unlikely to be really detailed
I
anyway.
mean, and there's not many buildings and stuff there anyway. So
Yeah.
two
Can't, like, crash
miles,
into
whatever. And if we don't see it, it could be we're just looking at the general vicinity and not in the distance or whatever. Or they might not even be facing that way or whatever. So you can't really attest to it, but
I suppose, but it also reminded me a bit of when Ishin flicked Aizen through a building with his middle finger, in just the
uh,
execution of setting him flying away, and
that was one of the best
That
moments in
also
Bleach.
was some very Looney Tunes stuff right there. But
yeah, clearly we're missing like the Wabbit season, Duck season, and all those sound effects
well,
like
yeah,
bam,
they had a
bam,
little bit of trash
pow.
talking going on in the beginning. They're like,
Oh yeah.
we're gonna fight in this. I'll kill you in this space, and it's like, oh, it's 3 paces too short. It's like,
What? It's like what the fuck? Although I am a little curious to see if like the arrow actually went through his body, or if it was more like a Hyaporonkan sort of thing, where like it didn't actually wound him, it just went through him. Because like he like kind of shattered it instead of like pulling it out, so it was a little weird.
Well,
But giant bow is still a giant bow. Crazy.
actually, this I think I attested to it before. It goes back to my theory about this whole thing, and I think the first part, as we know now, between Shansui and Ukitake about what they were talking about and everything, I think it kind of confirmed in my mind my theory about this whole thing that maybe we don't know obviously the whole scenario, but it always seemed like the Spock and them were basically set up to go to the Royal Palace, like because it almost just seemed too perfect of a scenario. Like the part that actually interested me about it was the Oaken thing when Ichigo first goes up there and he asks him, well, "Wait a minute, we need the key to get in, right?" And then Chibi's like, "This is the key," and you see his
The
arm and
key was
everything, and
inside of you all along.
yeah, yeah.
The
And
key was in your heart.
he's explaining that the Oaken allows him to you know go to the Soul Palace or to grant permission to others to by simply willing it. And then Ichigo and them come down or whatever, and Bach's like, ha ha ha, there's a da 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 da, and I'm gonna go up there. And my whole thing is thinking like, well, wait a minute, even with the clothes on and everything like that, there was a fundamental point about how you get in already described a couple chapters before when Ichigo went up there, and I would have to think that the Royal Guard are not that stupid. Oh yeah, where are these clothes that allow you to break through all our defenses
Yeah.
and go down to the thing? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't seem like they're that stupid, which means that in my mind, I'm thinking they wanted him to come up there. They set him up. They gave him the opportunity to come up there because they're not stupid. They know he was going to try it. They just destruction of Sarate. It's like, oh, we destroyed Sarate, we killed your captain commander, now we're gonna leave. And they knew that wasn't going to happen. So it
Yeah.
kind of confirmed it. And this whole thing with Ukitake and Shansui was like, I think was it Kamikake or Kake or whatever is supposed to mean
Yeah.
like it kind
Something
of
about
gave
divine presence.
me the idea of it kind of gave me the idea of some type of foresight or some prophecy or premonition somebody may have had or given that they're gonna have to come up here or something like that. Like Ichigo is supposed to fulfill some grand design, prophecy, like Harry Potter.
Yeah,
Oh,
mean,
God,
yeah,
please no.
Great.
I can totally see what you mean. I mean, I imagine they weren't predicting Nemai getting shot to the heart, but everything else seems to be according to their design.
That was a pretty complex trap they had set up. I mean, they had the fake palace, they had the real one hidden, they had the tree apparently all set up already.
And you know what?
And the fake Senjumaru.
Yep. And you know what? I still think, and that's another thing, I still thinking that's happening currently. Because notice, Senjumaru is nowhere to be seen. And I'm like thinking, well, wait a minute. When Oetsu got shot, here comes Hikafune and, Tenjiro to come to block the thing, and they were like, oh, you shot right through our stuff. Now, first of all, I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. Isn't Tenjiro like one of the fastest people in, Shinigami in existence? Why didn't he just pick Oetsu up and move him? And why didn't Oetsu just stand there? Why didn't he move out the way in the first place? Why was he just standing there to get shot? Like, some of this stuff doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, could it be possible that they're playing them again, doing this whole scenario to see what abilities that they have? So then, like, yeah, I mean, it's a good way to see your abilities as well as not get hurt. So, I don't know.
I'm sorry, Juju man, but your Soul King is in another palace. Dun dun
Well,
dun.
I don't know about the part where he's fighting Ichibe, but I think the other ones are. I think they might be pulling the wool over their eyes again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just really kind of anxious to see the Soul King actually come out and say something rather than just float there with his oddly inhuman body. Like, I doubt he has any like superpowers of his own because he seems more like just like a being who exists to hold everything together. But I wanted to see like what his personality is like, if any. If he's like, if he considers like a god, or if he's just like a noble, or what.
Well,
But
I had okay. Well, I had actually, to answer your point there. I actually had I had a thought about that, and I was thinking,
okay,
well, wait a minute. What if their job is not to protect so much the royal is not what we think it is? What if the royal guard job is not really to protect the Soul King or really the Soul Palace in the way that we think? What if their job is to daggone make sure that he doesn't get out of the palace?
Oh
really.
God.
I mean, like I understand like that's kind of been used quite a few times before. Like like I was protecting you from him or whatever. But
Yeah.
it seems like he has retainers attending to him, like waking him up every day and stuff. So like I mean like I could see it happening, but that it come out to explain why he has like servants and stuff. If
Well,
he's
why
really like a
not?
locked up monster.
There's been countless. I mean, the Emperor of China had a lot of servants, but could never really leave the Forbidden City. Like, it's not an impossible scenario.
No, it
Um,
isn't. You're right, but I don't know.
and
Like,
I would think that the reason why is because the way that he was talked about by Urahara and Aizen would denote that he's something not even akin to being a Shinigami, something else entirely, and that
yeah,
the way that Eisen talked about it is like it's a monster or it's a thing or an it.
Uber
And
Yeah.
Soul.
It's kind of like
we know this thing or it not only is just a whole thing, the supernatural thing holding all existence together, but it has a mind of its own and an interest in Ichigo and things like that. So what do you do when you have something extremely powerful, not beholden to having any, empathy or emotions that anybody can identify with, and has a personality, so to speak.
Uh,
Like, that's a lot of stuff put in a pot for a very bad situation for somebody.
yeah, I guess so. I mean, that's I mean, it's like pretty much at this point with how little we know of what it is and
Yeah,
what it can
any
do.
any
Like
scenario.
literally anything could happen, and we're like, oh, I guess that makes sense.
But
Or
I'm
like,
starting to think
or it's most things.
that Bach is similar to Eisen in his viewpoint. Because remember when they went up there, and he's like, this is a grave site or something like that. It's
Yeah,
like, there's
he
nobody
wants to
sitting on
kill
a
him.
throne. Yeah, there's nobody sitting on a throne. I could be God, which also, can help with the conspiracy theorist of Eisen is Bach.
Oh
Like,
God damn it!
Oh,
how do you even
Come
work
I
that
on,
say,
out?
yeah,
Like,
come on, like.
I say, I,
Isaac can never
dim
hope.
fucking
Isaac can never
conspiracies.
hope to have that facial hair. Honestly, just come on,
it's an
can't even
illusion.
deal.
You know how he does
Oh yeah,
it. You know
could
how
you
he,
imagine himself with those massive chops, and somehow like illusioned up an entire army of followers. Quincy's no less.
and somehow gain Quincy abilities.
Yeah, you know what? Oh yeah, that's how like that's why they don't use any Quincy abilities because he's too unimaginative. Who wants to give him like fire? Whee!
well, we know that Aizen and the I'm gonna try to say it, you snake like their
Just call him
goals are
Juju
like
Man.
yeah,
That's the nickname we got for him.
Juju
I'm gonna
Man.
call him Bach, and I'm gonna keep calling him Bach because I
Well,
don't
okay,
know how to
Sal.
pronounce
Well,
that
okay,
other.
fine. Everyone except Sal has that nickname for him.
They're I'll just call him Buckbeard. Why not? that's gonna
The
stick.
Blackbeard.
It's kind of, it's just kind of, their goals are like similar but fundamentally different. I mean, Aizen wanted to replace the Soul King apparently, and you could kind of see. I kind of suspect that the reason he was transforming into that a being beyond Shinigami and Hollows, blah blah blah, is because he was trying to become something similar, if not close to the Soul King. I don't know, because he was, but I mean, that transformation looked nothing like anything that he did.
It's
Whereas
not something unbeatable.
Yeah.
Buckbeard just wants to
mean,
flat
Unbeatable.
out destroy the world. He's ahead of
Unbeatable, you
schedule.
say?
He's ahead of schedule, by the way. I mean, he said, like you say, 9 days, and this is like day 2, I think, or 3.
Yeah,
Like,
day 2.
and you're
24 hours remain.
it's like 9 days.
well,
So he's gonna,
you gotta drag it out.
Yeah,
he's gonna
I
like sit
mean,
there for 7 days before blowing everything up. It's like,
Are
yeah,
you sure it was a 7 days?
Some
7 days before God makes the world. I don't know.
It's kind of hard to
something
gauge. It might have been
like that.
5.
Yeah. Uh, speaking,
Maybe, but I don't think it's been 9.
it's definitely not
No.
9. I mean, I like if I recall correctly, like during the mask fight, it like became night, and then the next like chapter after Dujaman's power was
oh
revealed,
yeah, it
it
took his
was it
nap.
was daytime. So it's been a day since it started. So
Yeah, so
but yeah, it's like
So
everything's happened on that second day.
unless that's counting the time when he first woke up, I don't know. Like, no, like 9. How long has it been since the arc started? Like,
Uh, you could go on the chronology project. I think it started on like June 11th, and it's now June 18th. So it's
so
like
that
about
would
as
be
usual.
like, what, 8 days? I'm
Eight
mathing on.
days. 8 days.
So that
I
would
mean,
fall right in line with the 9 day thing, I think. If he,
presuming, yeah, 'cause I don't think the Wandenreich city replacing the Sarate was like the start of the 9 days. It just happened because that's the thing he did.
yeah, because if you start from June 11th,
and then the amount of days that Ichigo and Renji and them were training.
That was part of the thing because like it went for 3 days during Kapachi versus Unohana. They went back to the world of living, spent like went past midnight there, went back, then went for a couple of days, and then came back. You can basically judge all this on what Ichigo did, as usual. It's crazy.
Hmm.
So yeah, so assuming that the start of the 9 days was the start of this arc, we're on day 8, I believe.
that makes a little bit more sense. Assuming that this isn't going to end in like 5 chapters with.
And then day 9, the moon appears above the Soul King Palace.
And
Oh
then
fuck.
Sailor Moon appears.
Oh yeah, no, and then the QB comes out, or the
It
Juby,
turns out
whatever.
the Soul King was Tuxedo Mask the entire time.
No, the Soul King was Macho Man Randy Savage.
See, for a second I heard Kyubey, and I'm thinking Madoka.
No.
That annoying fucking.
Snap
What I
into a
would love
Slim Jim,
is
Juju Man.
for the Royal Guard,
Make a contract with me,
you
Juju Man.
know, he gets to the Royal Palace, and then the real Royal Guard comes out, turns out to be Zodiac Knights.
Yeah. Honestly, I just want Don Kananji to be a Soul King. All I wanted out of the series.
No. The real royal guards are the Gotchaman.
You know what would be odd is he gets right to the front gate, the front entrance and the thing, and who's standing there but Unohana? Now that
Yeah.
would be awesome.
Back,
That
bitches.
would be
Back in
nice.
black.
That would be
Namaste.
fun.
That would
Honestly,
make
I
my
mean,
day. That would
yeah,
make my day.
I
Would make my
actually, oddly enough, I got renewed confidence in her being alive by Kenpachi saying that she was dead. Because like it felt like so
like
strange
he
to mention
checked,
it.
like he
Yeah, like,
checked vitals.
yeah, yeah. Like obviously, he knelt down, 2 fingers in the throat, checked for a pulse because Kenpachi does that
It was a
for
metaphor.
real.
It
Yeah,
was a metaphorical death.
Retsu is dead. Now there's only Ichiru. Dear God.
So here, like dream scenario. Okay, Shinsui like walks down to Mugen to go talk to Aizen, and he sees Unohana lying there on the ground, and she's just like, I'm dead now," and he's like, "Okay, you're not actually
Plot
dead."
Kai. Plot Kai to the max.
Plot
Desu.
Kai.
Like, don't you have a Zanpakuto at Hills? Like, why are you dead? I don't.
Wait. Huh, I just noticed something odd going back to this week's
Okay.
chapter.
What was it? The fact that was it the fact that Juju Man had fishy hair for like one frame?
No, but
Totally did.
the first time I'm looking at Ukitake,
Well, is it his shadow?
and
Mm-hmm.
no, it's the fact that he's covered in
Yeah, I
bandages.
saw that. Like underneath his robes. No.
Yeah, like starting from his neck, he's bandaged up, which is.
That seems to be
I wonder
everybody's
if it has anything to do with
clothing,
this shit.
I mean,
because Shinji is bandaged up like that as well. So maybe that's
bandages
something
heal all wounds, even tuberculosis.
Maybe
Yeah.
and I do remember Kubo in that interview saying that Ukitake would not necessarily be cured of his illness or whatever, but he'd get better basically.
Better enough to not, cough up blood in the middle of a fight.
Yeah, so
Here's a
maybe.
question: if he's so sick all that time, why didn't he get in the healing springs that Tenjiro? Like, why didn't he go to the Soul Palaces? Weird.
Because like apparently only like the super special people are allowed at Soul Palace, and
Yeah,
he's not one of them.
like Rukia. Like
I mean,
Rukia.
and also like from what I can tell,
Ruki is a main character. She's
Yeah.
Because if
important.
they
Oh.
did that, then all the fan service for all the Ukitake fangirls would, in the hot spring scene, would like.
his hair would
everybody.
turn black again. It would go back to being black, and then no one could stand it. He looked like a male version of Unohana.
Wow.
Oh Christ.
And that's
Oh
all
yeah,
I'm
his
saying.
hair is the
All I know.
Oh god.
Good God, good Lord. I'm just more curious about whether or not Kubo's gonna keep rolling with this Shansui's got two eyes thing. Cause like honestly,
Well,
Yeah.
I looked it up. There's actually 3 chapters where he does not have an eye patch on it. It first
one of them,
started in the second one, the 559.
yeah, which was
That's
fixed
where it
in
started.
the volume.
And after that, after the next chapters that we see him, he doesn't have it on either. So the only indication I can have is that it was healed and he was just wearing the patch and then he just took it off.
Well, there's a
And that
problem
was
with that
it.
actually. There's a problem because in 529 it was originally not there in the chapter, but they got fixed when the volume for it came out. So he has it on in the volume version. So
Okay.
apparently Kubo's forgot, and I guess he forgot these two because like to be honest, he's probably so used to drawing with like out any facial injuries that he's just like not used to it. So
Well,
I
Mohrph
Well, in
has
these
but like
past 2 chapters, he didn't have
I
it. So either
yeah,
he's going to keep fixing it or he's just going to be like, screw it.
it was healed overnight by now on her super barrier.
I kind
Super
of mentioned it before, but I mean, the fact that it was shot out by Robert just kind of really gave the impression that Robert was this like big hot shot or whatever, and that he'd be important later on. But then now that Robert is dead, suddenly Shinsui's eye magically grows back, so it's suddenly like, oh, he's not plot relevant anymore. There's no point in having a permanent injury inflicted by him.
Yeah,
I
it's
would
like
think the injury is more or less, inflicted because of surprise attack. He didn't expect it.
yeah,
I would
all
leave it
the
at that.
injuries that Shunsui got in that fight were from him being distracted or just being caught off guard. And actually, pretty much almost all of like the like victories or major beatings from Sterner have been from them getting an advantage over the opponent through like surprise or like an elemental advantage or whatever. As I outlined that somewhere on the wiki.
Well, yeah, that was
So-
the big thing about the first invasion. That was, I mean,
So I
Ass
would bring up
kicking.
the point to everybody here. What do you think? How different would this war have been had they not had any medallions and they didn't have the element of surprise?
I think it kind of defeat the purpose, because the only reason the Quincy are doing so well is because they've specifically trained to like counter Shinigami in certain ways. I think they'd
the
get their
medallion
asses
thing is
kicked.
pointless now anyway. So
Oh yeah, but
Yeah,
they'd
but
get,
like, like they made this big show about taking out like lieutenants who can use Bankai and like unseat Shinigami in the first one because they racked up like thousands of kills like that. They all the captains who lost their Bankai were the ones who got really badly injured, and everyone else just kind of got flesh wounds. And then this invasion, they like early on it was kind of a beatdown due to not to like even like characters who trained to overcome the lack of Bankai just got destroyed even without their opponents using that stolen Bankai against them. In Baz versus Hitsugaya, it was because Bazby had fire and he's got ice. And BG9 versus Sui Feng, it was because BG9 analyzed everything, and then it was like explosion.
Yeah,
And
for all the guns and missiles BG9 used, I'm surprised he didn't pull out her Bankai at some point. I mean,
like, no, he was like, I don't even need your Bankai to defeat you if that's all you got. I mean, cocky bastard.
yeah.
Also, I loved how people were like, this is like, were people complaining about how Sui Feng even using Bankai against BG9 was going against her character somehow?
No.
It's
Uh,
not like not at all. Like otherwise, she wouldn't have used it against Berrigan. She doesn't like it, but she'll use it if she has
doesn't
to.
like it because she's an assassin at heart. But
Yeah,
the thing is, when she even says to Omeda a couple of times, like, you do what you got to do to win. And she said, and that means
yeah,
if you attack them from behind or whatever, it doesn't really matter. She said, as long as you win and you can, settle up with, so she doesn't like it because it's not fit for assassination, but it doesn't mean she's not going to use it.
yeah. Yumi Chica is the one who was like, I'm not gonna use this if I die, except for like the recent ones where it's like I'll use it to protect Ikaku, but otherwise like I'm the one who's not gonna show my full power even if I have to die because I hate it that much.
Plus,
But
I think
yeah,
kind of delving into the whole like Zanpakuto, a reflection of their own owner kind of deal. I think the fact that it's a big flashy weapon says something about her subconscious personality. That maybe she likes being a big show off or showstopper with her. I mean, you saw the way she broke off BG9's gun and is dropping the bullets all
oh
showy
yeah,
like and all cocky
casual.
and
That
it's
was
like,
That was hype. That was so much hype. It's a beautiful little woman. Like
yeah,
oh
that was pretty cool when she did that. I thought
yeah.
it was. I don't care what BG9's analytical capability was. I thought it was a really big cop out to allow him to just like counter her Shunko. That didn't seem to make much sense to me.
it
Like,
was kind of rendered irrelevant. The whole I think for everybody but Komamura, the whole Eye of the Tiger training montage they did in between the two invasions was only really
Yeah.
relevant for him. Everybody else like got upgraded and then they got their asses kicked
I
anyway.
mean, Bianca probably didn't even do any training for his stuff. Like he expanded his Shikai, yes, just like Hitsugaya did, but he didn't like he doesn't because he doesn't have any unique abilities like Shunko or whatever. And so now his Shikai is a Bankai, and God knows to his Bankai now. But it's crazy.
wait a minute, who?
Byakuya. I mean, like apparently his Shikai can now be mistaken for his old Bankai because of how powerful it is. According
Oh
to
yeah,
at least according to
he's
as
like,
Ace whatever.
I didn't appreciate my Shikai, and I'm like, the funny thing when he said that is that I think that was kind of true of pretty much every Shinigami. Is that there's a lot too quick to go into Bankai. You how to use your Shikai a little bit better.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't have to worry about that. I think that it's some kind of way they only use like the surface
Yeah. I mean they're like
capabilities and stuff
very
like that.
few
It took going
Shinigami.
up there for Rukia to figure hers out too.
Yeah, they're very few Shinigami who go like all out with their Shikai before they finally do like I could think of like just I could think of off the top of my head Ikaku. Like he waited until like his Shikai was broken before he went to Bankai against Edrad. And Lord knows
It breaks all the
Shunsui.
time.
Well, yes, but like Shunsui also like used Tashika even when it wasn't like giving him his access to his powers. He didn't go Bankai. He's did all he could with his Shikai even when it was just two swords with no abilities. But yeah,
Well, no. It turns out with him, his Zanpakuto take a little bit to wake up anyway.
no, I know. But what I'm
And
saying is like he didn't go immediately to Bankai even when he was fighting against Stark, even though his
oh no,
sword at the time wasn't giving him access to his games. and so he's kept fighting with that instead. You
I
know,
think
for
that's
reasons other than I want to use my Shikai to its full extent, but
I think that was
yeah.
the inherent problem I had with the fight, with Aizen and everything like that at the end. I'm thinking, if this is the be all end all, or at least you think it's going to be the be all end all of your situation, where you have to go hard on this guy or whatever, or else he's going to, destroy everything, you know, at the time, then you would think everybody and your mom would come out with their bankais and go at Aizen. And the fact that they didn't kind of just seemed kind of weird to me. I'm like, y'all are supposed to be sacrificing everything to destroy this guy, and you don't seem to be doing that.
Honestly, I
Yeah.
think that might have made the barrier explode. Like, just from the sheer release. I mean, their spiritual pressure was already making like a city like several miles away, like
They were already
shake.
going to go down that road when Yamamoto used his technique anyway. So
But I mean, like, if for example, if Yamamoto had one Bankai, I think he'd probably have blown up the human world over time. I mean, it's like,
Well, I think it might have been immediate because he had a sun on the surface of the human world. That would just be bad. That's 15 million degrees on the human world.
he was like, I saved everyone and killed everyone at the same time.
Oh, like ashes, ashes. We all fall down.
He said,
Missed
well,
the-
on the plus side, I can use my Bankai to bring them all back as ash zombies.
plus
So,
like
Yeah.
plus like Ukitake kind of insinuated about Shinsui's Bankai. Not all abilities are probably necessarily good to have other people around when they
yeah. I
go
mean,
off.
even Eurohard, when Chad was training all those chapters ago, and I want to say years ago because it seems like back in the day, and he's like, yeah, I need you to train me, and he's like, yeah, my Bankai is not fit for training. We're gonna have Renji train you, and it was just
Yeah.
like, what can wait a minute. Renji's Bankai is pretty dangerous. What can his Bankai do that he can't take it out and help this boy train? Like,
Yeah.
what what
Good
is
God.
what is Benihime gonna do? Like, I mean, it does a lot during the Shikai, so I can only imagine with
Well,
Bankai.
speaking of Renji, I actually remember during the Wake of Mundo arc when he decided to get rid of the clones that Sazile made by activating Bonkai so that everyone activated Bonkai and then
Oh
just blew
yeah.
up the building with
Yeah,
the power release. So I guess that's what Mort means. Like if everyone went Bonkai, all the people who were at that time way above him in power went Bonkai at the same time, they probably would have just devastated that area. Like Lord, and also Lord knows it would have been hard to expand all their abilities if they're all using it at once.
that's the same concept as, what if, Byakuya fought against Okira and stuff like that. Like,
So Byakuya would totally own him. Come on, we all know that.
yeah, well, we know that, but people, the fanboys and girls want to sit there like he's so emo and awesome, and he's got a second release and all this other stuff. And I said, you know what? The only thing that he ever proved that he was powerful, more powerful than Ichigo, until he wasn't.
Yeah, he
So
would
he,
he would beat Byakuya by slitting his wrist so hard.
There's just like
like,
absolutely no frame of reference whatsoever for that. I mean,
yeah,
as
but
much
people
as I
kept
want
doing
to,
it for years.
yeah, like as much as I want to like think that Ulquira might have been the strongest, there's just really nothing to actually insinuate that. I mean, there's
No.
just a disconnect right there.
Then the whole concept behind people don't really understand what a plot device is, and I'm like, that's essentially what that second release is a plot device, and kind of really an unnecessary plot device because it seems like his actual release was totally not necessary, and the second release should have been his actual release.
Yeah, second
Like,
release looked much better and had
Well,
much better abilities.
I
yeah,
mean, hell, if
like,
you think about it, another unnecessary plot device was like just the two rules, even like no using ground
Oh
race
yeah,
arrow under the dome, no releasing if you're four above. Well, lo and behold,
well,
Ulquira is the only Espada of that rank that releases above the dome. So it's just an excuse to change the backdrop to a more dramatic setting or something. I don't
I
know.
think it's
yeah.
more of an excuse is that before Los Noches was just open, Bergen rolling pretty much all of Hueque Mundo. I don't need no walls and no roof. And then Eisen goes into control. He's like, well, I built this huge ass daggone edifice, so I don't want nobody destroying it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, actually, going on what you said about like more dramatic background, more. Now I'm thinking about it, it would have been much less dramatic if Ichigo had like a hole blown through. You could see like the sun through the hole in his chest, or like some clouds. It's like, oh, okay, there goes all the drama.
I
I
can't
thought
see all
he
the way up there.
I fundamentally believe that if Akira had no second release, and that second release was actually his first release, and he, shot a hole through Ichigo before he released, then Ichigo came back, and then he went into his resurrection. I think that would have probably had more impact as resurrection, ultra powerful resurrection versus this, whatever Ichigo is.
White 2.0.
Yeah, the
White.
2.0 New Hollow thing.
I get what Kubo was going for because in his first form he was already beating the crap out of Ichigo, but Ichigo wasn't giving up. He was determined to stand, and
I get
Okira
it
just got
too, but I
pissed.
don't
Feel
think-
true despair. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
I
true
get it
despair.
too, but I don't think that the majority of people
Yeah,
understood the concept behind it.
It wasn't necessary.
And it confused a whole lot of stuff and caused a whole lot of blogs and forums that were
Yeah.
totally unnecessary.
I released a true form of my sword. Now here's a true form of my sword.
Does Gijo Vega have a segunda etapa since he can transform into Tigre, Tolske, Sable, whatever the hell?
Yeah.
El Sable. Okay, obviously that
Or
it,
wait a
it
minute,
did nothing.
Yami.
His segunda etapa is the female that everyone thought he
Yeah.
was
I
originally.
can't
yeah.
think he's a female.
Wait,
Shit.
no, that doesn't never mind.
Or
Never mind, I don't even know.
Yami's transformation. Oh, that's his second release. I'm like, no, unfortunately. I said, see, it caused a whole lot more problems than necessary because every time somebody does something else, if they transform an even more powerful version, it's just like, oh, he said did a second release, and you're like, no. And then there's the speculation that, oh well, Grimjaw is still alive and he's gonna come in there and he's gonna be more powerful, so he has a second release now.
Yeah,
Like,
me
oh,
smash.
God.
I'm expecting Grimjaw to have a second release, but I'm not gonna be happy about it when he does it.
I'm expecting Chad to have full on hollow like body armor.
I'll buy him another
instead of
5
just-
seconds or something.
I'm expecting there to be a stage after Bankai, so get on my level.
Oh, what
I'll be
Zankai?
Bankai 2. Bankai 2.
Isn't that what they call it on the fan fiction Zankai?
Yeah, Zenkai.
Maybe.
Zenkai?
No,
Ascended Bankai.
Isn't Zenkai the thing with Kenpachi without his eye
No,
patch?
Zenkai is what the Saiyans in Dragon Ball used to power up.
Yeah.
When they came near death, and then they came back when they recovered, they grew more powerful.
This
So
is
that
a
was what it's called.
Shikai. Now take it to the next
did the
level. Bankai.
Take the
Didn't
a
the
third
thing
level. Saibuse.
Totally, that works. But wait, didn't the thing with Kenpachi removing his eye patch have a name?
No, it was just called Feel My Wrath.
No, wait, that was Third Phantom again. They called it
Seriously?
Zenkai.
They seriously called it Zenkai?
That's beautiful.
Well,
They called it
by the rules
Zenkai because
of this wiki, that's other media and it doesn't count.
yeah, but it's still hilarious.
it counts. It just goes into that appearances in other media section.
In other media section, Kapachi's a Saiyan.
I don't know why. Hey, okay. So, I don't know. If I remember how the fucking game worked, it was like...
Okay, this makes
They,
sense.
like...
I'm looking at a few translations of Zenkai. One is complete recovery of health. One is full throttle. I can see that one. Why that one?
Okay.
Full throttle.
Okay. The way it worked was like when a character reached like max Reiatsu, you could like release some higher form, and to some of them that was a Bankai, and to some of them it was just overpowered shit.
Yeah, I will have some games do that.
Depending on the character.
And
And for Kenpachi they called it Zenkai.
it's kind of going a little off topic, but with the Naruto fighting games, if your character powers up, if that character happens to have a transformation in the show, then they turn into that form. But the characters who didn't have a transformation, they get some generic powered up form called like Ascended. Oh crap! Well, I'm trying to think. Oh, Ascended Neji or
Ascended Neji.
They have a similar power of aura. It's like, and I'm just kind of imagining the same thing in Bleach, like Ascended Hanataro.
Yeah. I don't even. Hanataro can't even fight in that game. He's like a non-combat character, I think. And so is Unohana. So.
I miss Una.
Well, given when it was given when the game
Well,
was made.
to be fair, like around the same time, we also had her just unleashing like level 90 Hado spells like it was nothing. So, well, in the anime at least.
Yep. But yeah, with and then Kenpachi's big form was, obviously just without his eye patch.
Yep. Yeah, I can see that.
Those were the early days. Those were like
The good old days.
Oh yes, clearly.
Yeah.
So,
The good old days, and the days when Schiffy still wants Third Phantom to be a filler
yeah,
arc.
the good old days when I thought Ichigo.
Animated by someone else,
Yeah, the good old
please.
days when I didn't read Bleach 'cause I thought Ichigo looked silly in his Bankai.
I'm not gonna lie, there
Just go look at the animation over like the first ending theme.
there have
I don't
there
know.
have been
No, I don't know. Maybe.
there have been manga that I've read that, well, not read, but there's been manga and anime that I have not watched or read because I thought the characters looked stupid. Like, for instance, Soul Eater, and I turned out when it first came on Adult Swim, I actually liked Soul Eater. I didn't care much for the goofiness and the animation, but I liked the concept.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I
So,
guess one. Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
well, you can probably get that out of the way. So, good.
Oh right. Well, the only example I could think of is like with Attack on Titan, the artwork.
Oh yeah.
It just honestly, I like the story I've read so far, but the artwork is hard to swallow. It just kind of looks like a train wreck. But when I compared to the anime's artwork, I actually think the anime looks better. Surprisingly, I don't know
Oh.
why.
Well, yeah, cause like it would be a little disconcerting if they like draw like multiple lines for an outline for each character instead of like like one continuous line like per like scene in every frame. It
It's
was a
like
little strange. Yeah.
it's like he turns in his pencil sketches without like doing any final outlining.
Oh yeah. It does remind me that one time when Naruto was sent in without like the final like lines being drawn, so it was all like
Right.
sketchy and gross. It was hilarious.
Oh, the
All
old
right.
school thing where Geen and them were calling him something else. Something, I forget. It wasn't Kenpachi. It was something else, and it was just not accurate. I think it was like Soul Society art.
Oh crap! Wait, because
I'm just hemorrhaging with generosity. That was
oh,
that. That
you
was
mean like
that
back in
was
the
part
day
of the
when
subs.
it's
That was
like back in the day when they didn't know what the hell kana were, so they keep calling stuff the wrong fucking name, like
Yeah.
Hitsuki or
wait. I actually remember why that was. So it turns out they were using the Chinese raws instead of the Japanese raws. So
oh
there were no kana. So they'd like guess, which is why we got what was it?
okay
Uh,
Hitsuki. It's like
yeah, Zaragi Ginbachi, I think it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ginbachi.
Ginbachi to the rescue. Please save me.
Kurenai Hime. It's like
Oh yeah, Kurenai Hime and Zankatsuki. Beautiful.
Wow.
Oh, and I thought that there was at least one more. I think didn't Zabimaru have something really weird
Probably.
too?
Let me check. I can just look up really quick. Because like there's like a whole TV tropes page dedicated to misspellings in Viz media, and
Of
it is
course.
a long one for the Bleach section. Because of all
Yeah.
the romanization errors like Ice Ringer and Stark with one R,
Thunder Witch.
Underwitch, Sandovich, uh, what was it? Oh yeah, so okay, so
Yeah, I still like Ivan better than Evern.
Ivan. So here we go. So this
It makes him sound cooler rather than slightly
yeah.
Russian.
So
You see, Ivan, when you hold a gun like me, you no miss for fear of shooting fingers.
here's the list for that arc. So for example, Zaraki Kenpachi is usually read as Giraki Kenbachi or even Saraki Tsurugihachi. And Kuratsuchi was Kumetsumo, and Zangetsu was Kitsuki. Oh my god.
Mm.
Does it say what Zabimaru was?
No, unfortunately.
Because I thought there was one. I thought there
And
was
also the Chibi Tropes decided to use Vondenreich instead of Wandenreich because and I quote, the mods decree that the Viz spelling was stands the most accessible source of canon.
Wait,
Wow.
which one?
that.
Which one does Viz use?
Vondenreich. They still use that.
Uh,
And they also use O Etsu. Like, oh, Etsu.
well, actually, I think it was actually flat out written that way in
It was, but
English.
in the
also
law.
we also like even though Sui Feng was written out as Soifon, like we use the actual reading of it instead of the Japanese reading.
Like, we're a little inconsistent with some of the names from the data books, especially like with Izuru, for example. I don't doubt that's the way it's supposed to be spelled, but at the same time, if for the sake of consistency,
Is his last name actually Genbachi?
no.
Oh, darn.
No.
Gin
We have already been over multiple times about the names,
Oh
conferred
yes.
with Adam, so everything we do is pretty much on the up and up. There is no inconsistency there. I don't see it.
Like, yeah, I know. It was a different romanization style. I think I can't.
Yeah, that's what it
My
is.
inconsistencies. My
Well,
inconsistencies.
all right, so I'm thinking we should probably end this off here. It's been a sizable podcast, looks like.
Yeah, it
And,
has.
Oh, we're still
like
recording?
I'm
for
not.
three of you, it's past midnight. It's past your bedtimes.
Well, it took me 2 minutes to listen to this podcast, so.
Oh,
Wow.
shut up.
Like,
Shut up. I already had enough today with people like, it took me 10 seconds to read this chapter. Kubo, why do you use a preview trail of the fight? God. So,
Took me
so,
3 years to 3 years to read, 17 pages.
oh God. Well, Kubo, why is this
Well,
so long? Ah.
either they're comparing it to Attack on Titan or they're comparing it to a pamphlet you find at the bus stop. So
oh,
Yeah,
well, with One
obviously.
Piece, at least you can look at the pretty pictures.
No. They're comparing it to the terms and conditions.
yeah, like nobody's
I
giving
mean,
you a
who would want
uh,
to, who want to read like a 5-minute chapter each week? That'd be crazy.
people
Ugh.
wouldn't like that.
Yeah, no, like just let him do what he wants. Christ.
I mean,
I read the last Full Metal Alchemist chapter in 5 seconds. What are you
I
talking
would
about?
read a long chaptered version of Bleach if it had
It was-
equal parts fighting and equal parts explanation.
Oh,
I think I would have been happy with that because I feel under that scenario, we would know what Unohana's Bankai does.
oh yeah, totally. No, we'd have like 2 chapters covering that entire fight. I think. I mean, if not just one. I still like the link that Mohrph posted about of the bashing of everyone in the manga stream comment section over how they have a circle jerk of hatred towards the series. That was a beautiful thing to read.
Wow.
It was so accurate, honestly. Not just towards manga stream, but like every like manga site I've ever like read chapter on with the comment section. It's ridiculous. All right. So, before we end off, Skiff, could you link that in the blog that you posted on?
Oh,
Pl-
yes, I'll
Please
definitely
do.
do
It
this.
is a beautiful thing. People need to see it.
Ah, yes. The evolution
Of the mustache.
of Bach's mustache.
Yes.
Oh
It's
god,
gotten
this image.
more
Oh, I am
and
totally
more-
Oh,
gonna
wait, you
link
seriously
this.
have a picture of that?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
God.
do.
It's gotten more and more boxy since the chapters have been going on recently to the point that he looks like one of the emperors of Austria.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, Franz Joseph the First, like
French Joseph.
I'm like, what is he trying to accomplish here with this wandering shapeshifting mustache?
I think
Get it.
eventually it'll turn into like Yamamoto's like droopy mustache that goes off the side of his thing, like goes down to his shoulders, but it's just gonna like cover his like entire torso, and he'll just swing it around as a weapon.
Guys, this is his signature skill, the infinite growing mustache.
The
Is
accumulation.
that more powerful than the soul?
The accumulation, I like
Is
it.
that more powerful?
It starts with A.
Is that more powerful than his soul distribution, or
No, Sal. Every time a Survivor dies, you get an inch of hair. That's how it works.
So you're saying, well, by that notion, by the end of the, considering that most of his Exterminator are dead, he should look like Yamamoto right now. So
Okay, maybe half
like,
an inch. Maybe we're being fooled by perspective here. Maybe from the
He is-
side, it's just like sticking out like a foot in front of his face.
I'm sorry, but after 1,000 years, Yamamoto still has the better facial hair. So, like, it's nicely groomed and it's
People are-
braided and
Yeah, I
Oh,
don't know.
yeah.
That buck beard is just like, I don't know.
I don't know. The Blackbeard doesn't
feels
have
like
the beard doesn't
feels
have.
like it's watching.
I gotta wonder who Yamamoto goes to, like, for a barber.
Probably his lieutenant. His lieutenant has all the hair product treatment.
Okay, well then that means
absolutely.
he was mad because his barber was dead. In which case, what did he do? Trim it with lightning? I don't know.
Yeah. Honestly,
The only thing that
how
can cut
else
his hair
do you
is like
trim the beard of like the indestructible man?
the elder god.
Yeah, totally. Dark side in good form.
Yamamoto's beard is Cthulhu.
Wow.
Okay, let's
Wow.
end the podcast. How about we end the podcast on that?
Yeah, okay, we've got to end this before I go loopy.
Okay,
Oh.
Yamamoto's beard is Cthulhu. You heard it, folks. All right.
Yep.
Well,
and with that,
we're
we've had another successful sort of podcast.
successful in stretching it. I'd say.
Guys, our podcasts are just glorified shitposts.
Yeah, pretty.
All right, signing off, everyone.
We stand in awe before that which cannot be seen.